Hey, so we're about to get ready to prepare Sasha's meal for the day. We feed once a day. Right now it's about 8:49, going on 9 o'clock. So I told you guys I would do an update video because we made some changes to her diet. Last time that the last video I put out was Sasha was pretty much on. She was on kibble all the way. She was on like a cup and a half of Victor and a cup and a half of large breed puppy. Now we have, excuse me, started the process of transitioning her back to raw. She was getting too many. She was scratching a lot, hair loss. Um, she started getting ear infections. Sasha never had ear infections, so I was like, you know what, we gotta get off this shit. Um, so I kind of explained that in the previous video as well, that too much of one or more gave her certain issues. But so we've been working at it for the last man, I would say probably the last 3 or 4 months. So I think we have it dialed in now. I have a little bit more to transition her back to raw, but I'm gonna give you guys. I'm gonna show you guys how we do it now for 2022. So we got a cup of Victor. Well, this right, we got Victor right here in this bowl. Right, it's 2 cups. We're not feeding her 2 cups. Absolutely not. So what we do is I get my scale. Get my scale, and I weigh everything in grams. I weigh everything in grams. So Sasha gets 125 grams, which is about 1 cup, right? About 128. That's one thing we definitely implemented is in controlling the scenario. We weigh all her food out. So then we're making sure that it's a more it's more accurate. You know what I mean? She's not getting too much of one. So that's that. So this is how we feed her. First, she has kibble. I make sure she eats her kibble first. So she gets her cup and a half of kibble, and she gets hold on 1 second. And she gets 2 of the Origin dog treats. It's freeze dried. We used to feed her a lot of this. Like when I had her on straight kibble, I had to constantly give her this shit. You know what I mean? I mean a lot of it. So it was just a combination of everything. You know what I'm saying? But we kind of us transitioned her back to raw and cutting the kibble down because what we did was each time every 3 or 4 days we would cut a certain percentage down. It was like 25%. So for that, it was like 50 grams. I did it in grams. So as the kibble was going down, the raw was going up. So let me show you how it looks. Let me put this camera down for a hot second. So yeah, that's it. She gets 2 a day. That's it. So let me go ahead and get that set up for you guys. So yeah, I just took one piece of the Origin treat and just broke it up evenly in the Victor. I give Sasha the other piece. I walk around for a minute, I give it to her, and she goes crazy, whatever. So that's it with the kibble. So that's her first part of her morning dish. 125 grams of Victor, 2 pieces of the Origin. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. And then for the second part of her dish will be her raw, and I will show you guys that process as well. Okay, so now we're about to prepare Sasha's second part of her morning breakfast. So this is what we have. We have some bone broth. This is really good for the dogs. We actually use Mave. Mave is actually the company that helped us transition Sasha from kibble to raw. And I knew a lot about raw before, but it made me do a whole lot. It made me a lot better in regards to transitioning and portion size. So bone broth. We got blueberries, beef liver. We got some kale. This is some chicken that got cut up after I get done doing this video. Some food prep. But this is Sasha's portion of the chicken and the feet. What I do is I make sure everything is frozen. It keeps the bacteria. It keeps the bacteria to a certain, it keeps the bacteria down pretty much. And Sasha likes to texture a little bit, so I unthaw it just a little bit, so it should still texture. Then for it to be just totally unthaw. So first up, we're gonna do the blueberries. Just the blueberries weighed out. She gets right now she gets 43 grams, and that would probably be the I think going forward that would be her full portion from what I'm seeing with her stool. Next we got the kale. Let me see if I can just do this with one hand, If I can go ahead and just do it with my left hand, because I'm right-handed. Hold on one second. Just bear with me, guys. So with the kale, she's getting I think I'm gonna go ahead and add her portions today because it's been 3 days with the blueberries. So I'm gonna go ahead and do 48. I'm gonna do 48 grams of kale. And the kale is already chopped up. Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, so now we have the blueberries. We have 48 grams of kale. Go ahead and reset the button. Next is the beef liver. This has already been weighed. This has already been weighed up, which is good. It's 60 grams of beef liver. Yeah. 64 with the bag, but it's been weighed out without the bag, so it's 60 grams. Oh, just bear with me one second. So now we got the blueberries, the kale, and the beef liver. Now we're gonna do the bone broth. Sasha gets about anywhere from 12 to 13 grams of the bone broth. They're cubes. So how I do it is because it kind of varies sometimes in the gram amount. You can do I just do 10 cubes. So that's 6. You see what I'm saying? That's already at 12 grams, and that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. That's 9. So one more cube. So she is at 14 grams, but she got her 10 cubes. So now that's completed. What I do is, because I always. So what I normally do is, when I'm preparing Sasha's food in general, I always take out the chicken first and the chicken feet because it takes the longest to thaw out. I make sure I take it out about like an hour before, but it still has a hard texture. it's just thawed out a little bit. So normally what I do is I put this back in the refrigerator for a minute. And excuse me, I had to rearrange some stuff. I normally just put the bowl right here, and I let this sit out for about like 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes, just so it can start thawing out just a little bit. The main thing is I want the cubes to melt. So I want the cubes to melt a little bit, because then it makes it there's a lot more liquid in the raw, which Sasha likes. So you can see the bone broth started to melt, and you can see the little fluid in there. I like that because once I start mixing it up, it gives a little it gives more moisture into the food, since I give it half thaw, half not. So now I'm just going to add the chicken breast that's been weighed out already at 325 grams. Hey! Hold on 1 second. Okay, so now we got the chicken feet mixed in. 2 chicken feet, roughly anywhere between 70 grams to anywhere just 85, almost 90 grams. Some of the chicken feet are a little bit bigger, so sometimes it varies. So I'm actually going to I'm going to do a lot better job in terms of weighing that out. Well, how should I say? I may have to chop it up just a little bit, just so it's an even amount of the bone per day, and not 70 grams one day, not 80 grams one day, not 90, you know what I mean, stuff like that. So chicken's already in there. So now what I do is I go over here to the sink, I take it, excuse the dishes, I mean, it's not it's just 2 bowls. I gotta take out the dishwasher and load it up. Excuse me though. So yeah, I just take it and then I just start mixing it up. I like to do it on the other side because that shit happens. The bone broth comes out. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and just do this. Put that right here. So I'll start mixing it up just like this. Okay, so now we got the dish pretty mixed in, pretty good. I would like it for it to be a little bit more melted, the bone broth, so it'd be a little bit more fluid. It's not as much as I would like, but that's okay. The next step is we're going to add some salmon oil, of course. Right now, Sasha's on 2 squirts, so all I do is shake it up, and then I just give it the squirts. So just give me 1 second. Try to do this with one hand. Hold on, let me just put it down for a second. So yeah, added the salmon oil, and then all I do is the same process like I did before or prior. I just mix it up really well, and at that point, that will be it for her dish. We still have to implement coconut oil. Haven't transitioned her back to that as well, but once we got our transition completely, I will start to implement that. And I'll start with a half teaspoon of that, and then gradually work to 1 teaspoon, and then that'll be it for the coconut oil. Okay, this is how it looks. Once I've completely, mixed it in good, and you can see it has a nice glossy, texture to it. And so yeah, this is Sasha's her second part of her full meal. Just a quick recap. You got 325 grams of chicken breast. You got this one was probably about 75, 80 grams of chicken feet, which are 2 feet. She always gets 2 feet. We have beef liver, 60 grams, and then we got some kale. The kale was 48 grams. Yeah, 48 grams, and then the blueberries were 43 grams. And that's what she has. I'm about to give this to her, and then I'm gonna just give you a little brief introduction to her essentials. Her essentials / supplementation.